And I think that's one of the things that keeps me young and alive and dynamic. So I would encourage people during this time of being sequestered in your homes, use this time, at least some of it. I teach what's called the hour of power, 20 minutes of reading, 20 minutes of meditation, 20 minutes of exercise. And don't tell me you don't have time to do that because you used to commute that much in your car or on the train or the subway.
I'm kind of curious because we've had obviously this great conversation around, limiting beliefs and certain internal beliefs. For you, you've been in this work for decades. Do you remember, has there been any recent internal shifts for you, even as somebody that teaches this work? Or do you even remember one kind of limiting belief that did make a massive difference for you?
Yeah, I had a major breakthrough. I went down to Costa Rica and experienced plant medicine down at a place called Rhythmia. And it was 4 nights of ingesting something called ayahuasca. And the reality was I got in touch with about 3 or 4 major childhood wounds that I was not conscious of. And here I am, 75. I've done more work on myself, therapy, workshops, guided visualization, 10-day meditation retreats, you name it.
Right.
And I mean, one year I took 32 weekend workshops on everything you can possibly think you're about, when I was in my 30s. But the point being that I got in touch with how my mother and my dad, when I would cry, they'd put me in the car and I just cry. Nobody would respond. So I gave up kind of asking for what I wanted because I didn't believe anyone was out there that would give it to me. So I really adapted the belief If I want something, I have to do it myself. So I have been much better at asking for support, reaching out to people. I had another wound where it was a worthiness issue where I thought I wasn't worthy of my father's support and love. And so a lot of my success has been driven by proving I'm worthy. And I dropped that. Now my success I was always a giver. I was always into service. That was always there. But there was this little vine of ego wrapped around it called love me, tell me I'm enough. That's pretty much disappeared. And then the other big issue was I never cried. I shut down my crying when I was 10. My father was beating me and I just said, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of seeing your impact on me. And I had never really cried since then. And boy, one night I just had to, it was like a battle. Cry, don't cry, cry, don't cry. It was like the Hulk,
right.
And one of those superheroes.
Trying to break free or to stay contained.
And I finally cried. I must have cried for like 20 minutes, tears of my mother's death and my own innocence lost as a child and people dying in the ghettos and, on and on and on. And as everyone who knows me, who's known me before would say, you're not the same person. You showed up a lot more loving. You're a lot more patient. You are a lot more present with people. So I think, I forget who it was that wrote Jonathan Livingston Seagull, his name, Richard Bach, I think it was. No, Richard, whatever it was. Anyway, whoever wrote Jonathan Livingston Seagull, that book.
Don't worry, we'll look it up.
Yeah. Thank God for Wikipedia and online stuff. But anyway, he said, if you're still here, your work's not done yet, meaning your work on yourself. When you have fully evolved, you're not going to leave until, you're not going to get to go until then. So basically, I'm very committed to continue growing. I've read over 3,000 books. I continue to take seminars. I watch TED Talks and TEDx Talks and watched 2 podcasts last night that I recorded yesterday when I was doing things like this. And I'm a voracious learner. And I think that's one of the things that keeps me young and alive and dynamic. So I would encourage people during this time of being sequestered in your homes, use this time, at least some of it. I teach what's called the hour of power, 20 minutes of reading, 20 minutes of meditation, 20 minutes of exercise. And don't tell me you don't have time to do that because you used to commute that much in your car or on the train or the subway. Now that's extra time. Yeah. So instead of just sleeping in, you use it for reading books like this and listening to podcasts like Jay's and so forth.